Hi guys, I'm George.
And I'm Harry. Together we are K&K Productions, and this is the DragonBall Z Saiyan Saga trailer, the making of.
Trailer? I thought we were making a full movie.
Three, two, one. So what we're going to talk about in this video is basically what we went through past... Well...
3, 2, 1. He counts himself in. So, what we wanted to talk about was a bit about how we made the trailer, what we went through, and might along the way answer some of the questions that you have about what we did and how we did it.
Yep. Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is casting, which was obviously very important for this project. When we started out, the main thing we wanted was to find people that looked like the actual anime characters. We actually used a site called Casting Call Pro, which basically is a huge database of actors and actresses. So we searched for their build, we searched for martial arts skills, ethnicity and stuff like that. You can actually kind of whittle that down, so you know you're going to get a group of people that match what you're looking for. And the first person we actually kind of really nailed down we wanted to get was Ryan Oliver, who was playing Nappa.
It was almost like, no, click on this guy, and his pictures came up, and there was like a picture of him looking absolutely ripped, and we were like, that is literally Nappa. I'd actually been on set of World War Z, the Brad Pitt movie, and I was working with, that's where I met Leigh, who plays Krillin. We were trying to find someone, obviously Krillin's stature, he's comparatively quite small compared to the other characters. So we knew we needed a small person, and obviously I thought, well, Leigh would be perfect, so I got in contact and he was really up for doing it.
With the other guys like Goku, Vegeta, all those guys, we just looked for their look and their martial arts skills, and we just happened to be very lucky that a lot of them were massively into Dragon Ball Z. Especially Aaron Leigh playing Vegeta, huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Michael Murray playing Piccolo, again, massive Dragon Ball Z fan.
Which made such a difference for actually directing them, and they knew the content already. It wasn't like a case of didn't have to bring them up to speed on what Dragon Ball Z is all about and who the characters are and all that sort of thing. They knew it already, so that was such a bonus to us.
We were also lucky enough to have Zack Nizato, who is actually of Japanese origin, and we thought that was good. He was a good person to start the trailer because it kind of gave us that bit of authenticity and paid a bit of respect to where the actual anime came from.
Yeah, and Zack was a big Dragon Ball Z fan as well. So again, that really helped us.
Then we had Isky Fay, David Chung, both great martial artists, both young and really enthusiastic, and those guys are both great. They put their all into it, and again, both Dragon Ball Z fans. And then we had the two kids, Brandon Leigh, who is actually Aaron Leigh's nephew.
Yeah, nephew.
And Oliver Faber, who played Chiaotzu. And again, both of those really enthusiastic, nice to have around. They we just took to the set and really enjoying it. Of course, we had Peter Peralta as Goku, and when he actually first came to us, he knew of Dragon Ball Z. He'd obviously heard of it, but he wasn't the hugest fan. But what's been amazing about this project is that he actually has massively thrown himself into it. He asked us straight away to send him all the episodes. He sat and watched them all, studied his character. He has done so much to build himself up for the character in terms of weights and training and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, actual physicality of it. He really, if you followed him on Twitter or Facebook or anything, you'll see that he's always in the gym, training, eating properly, all that sort of thing. To really build his look for Goku, which was great.
And to be fair to all the guys, they were all working really hard in the gym, training with each other outside of hours that we'd kind of set.
Yeah.
So we feel really lucky to have had the cast and crew that we did.
So after our casting, we started to assemble our crew and team, and the first port of call was the makeup. We had a meeting with Katy Gill, who was really enthusiastic, and she was kind of our head makeup and prosthetic. Our main challenge prosthetics wise was obviously Michael, who was Piccolo. So we went through quite a lot of processes with that. First of all, we had to work out what colour to make him. The original anime had a very bright green, but we kind of wanted to bring it a little bit more into real world. if you kind of apply that kind of colour to a real person's skin, it looks radioactive. You know, we didn't want that kind of look. We wanted a bit more sort of earthy kind of look. You know,
so it looks like it could actually be his skin. On the actual shoot days, it was a 4-hour process basically to get Michael in all of his makeup. Yeah. So he always had, any shoot day, he had a very early start, along with Leigh, who played Krillin.
Yeah.
He had to have a bald cap.
The other thing was obviously things like Vegeta and Goku's hair. You know, I mean, we're quite fussy about the way it looked, and it was took quite a long time to kind of really get the shape of Vegeta's hair. You know, especially to get, you know, the kind of the point at the back right and stuff, about making it look like, you know, Jedward or something stupid.
We didn't want to go too massive. If it was like the anime, it would look crazy. And we didn't want to use wigs because we wanted it to be their natural real hair. So I think for using his actual hair, we got really close to how, you know, Vegeta's hair looks in the anime.
You know, Katy also assembled some help with Carla and Jess, who came in and helped out,
and Sam as well.
And Sam. So on to costumes.
Costumes. Costumes turned into a little bit of an ordeal during this project.
I mean, we started out, we put an advertisement out on another website which is really useful, which is Talent Circle. So we went on there, put an ad out for the costume designer, costume maker. One that really stood out was this costume designer that we went and met.
We got the whole thing kicked off. All the cast were coming in, getting their fittings, all that kind of thing. We gave a strong idea of what we wanted and all that kind of stuff. For quite a long time went past, we didn't see any designs or anything like that, and we were getting a bit concerned. So we're getting closer and closer to the actual shoot date. We're getting close to that time and getting more and more nervous. So we kind of pressuring this guy to find out what's going on and see some photos of any costumes, stuff like that. So eventually, within probably 3 weeks, a month before we're actually supposed to shoot, we get some photos back.
It was not really like anything we discussed with him to start with. He'd sort of gone his own way with it, really.
So anyway, we said we need to make some tweaks here, get some changes going so we can get him ready for the shoot. He was upset with that, and that we kind of questioned his artistic direction. So basically 2 weeks before the project started, he dropped out of the project. So we got 2 weeks to the shoot date, and we got no costumes basically. We put another advert out very quickly, and we came across Unjo Kim, who stepped on last minute.
I mean, we also had Jill Stigwood and Anne Jackson, who took what the previous costume designer had made and kind of fixed it up to the standard that we wanted.
So then we had all those kind of guys' costumes, but the thing that was missing was the Saiyan armour. So Unjo, within a week of shooting, was working on the armour, and we literally didn't see the armour until the night before we were shooting. So we're indoors here on location, and we see the armour for the first time. And don't get me wrong at all, Unjo had done a really good job for the time that she had. But we realised pretty quickly we weren't happy with the costumes. Luckily, in the animation, Nappa had his top off for a lot of his fighting, so we kind of got rid of his armour as quickly as possible. But Aaron still had to wear his armour for the fights, and Aaron's probably one of the biggest fans of Dragon Ball Z on the cast, so you could see
we could tell he was anxious about the look of it and how it was going to affect the outcome of the trailer. So
in the end, we had to kind of make the hard decision that we were going to go and do reshoots. Which was particularly hard because it meant that we had to go back to the public and kind of ask for more funding, which we never wanted to do. We were really happy. We were ecstatic about the funding we got from people before. So to go back and ask again was a horrible thing to have to do. We've been really lucky. The fans were just kind of like, okay, cool. These things happen. And they gave us the money to go on, push on, and get the new armour, which we're much happy with. And we took it to some kind of professional spray places to get it all sprayed up. And for some reason, no one, everyone was like, well, you're going to have to pull it apart. You're going to have to do this, one of that. Yeah. So we ended up, sitting in our kitchen, doing it ourselves. Getting it all painted up how we wanted it to look. And we were really happy with the result in the end. It was definitely a good decision to the reshoots because I think we would have regretted it forever if we'd kept the original armour. So
makeup done, costumes just about ready. So we're down in Dorset the night before our shoot day.
The shoot was a big logistics thing because obviously we had limited money, so and the location is expensive, so we basically had to kind of really plan how we were going to shoot everything. So we'd actually gone down to location a couple of times on previous occasions and literally taken a photo using one of us in it to kind of map out every single shot of the trailer. We had James Mitchell, who was our production coordinator, basically had an iPad with every single shot on it, and he was just basically keeping us moving throughout the day.
Yeah, Jim kind of brought home, you know, how much time we had for sort of each shot. I mean, how many shots did we have? It was
53 shots to do in one day.
In one day.
You know, if we hadn't done all that kind of planning beforehand, got our storyboards mapped out, that shoot just would never happen. We had Artisan Films Limited with us, who are a Jimy Jib crew. So they had the big, which is basically one of the big crane camera, and you can get those really epic kind of swinging high shots and some great angles.
Cliff was also our co-DOP, so he is very good at, you know, just making sure, you know, because we're thinking about characters and the actions and that sort of thing. He's making sure that the shots are looking, you know, the light's right, and you know, it's not overexposed, and all those sorts of things that, you know, sometimes we went out the window because we're, you know, thinking about Nappa's next line, you know. Big thanks to those guys, and if you ever need a Jimy Jib, Artisan Films Limited, look them up. Website's in the description. We also had Tom Leigh from Endless Media down shooting the kind of all the kind of behind the scenes footage you'll see within this video. Endless Media's link in the description. Check those guys out. We've got some cool stuff going on. With our original budget that we kind of planned for, we were going to do some flying scenes at our local gym. We did some testing with that, which didn't go very well whatsoever. Then once we realised we were actually getting to get more of a budget, because we kind of went over our budget that we needed for funding. We got the opportunity. Yeah, thank you guys. We got the opportunity to go to Pinewood Studios, which for us is just like an absolute dream. You know, Bond, Harry Potter, Dark Knight. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, the amount of films we've filmed there. A lot of our actors hadn't done wire work before. I mean, we hadn't really shot anyone on wire work before. You know, it's something new to us. So the whole experience was really interesting to sort of learn how it's done, and you know, getting the actors up in the rigs, in the harnesses and stuff was, you know, quite interesting. Obviously trying to find a harness that fit Ryan, as he's pretty big, so but they found one, so that was lucky. Took about 10 people to lift him up, but no, didn't really. But
it's definitely for me like the most fun day, I think, because you're in one of the biggest film studios, and yeah, it's really exciting. So yeah, it was a great day. So basically, big thanks for the extra funding, because we got that type of experience and make the trailer that much better. Okay, next we'll talk about special effects. Again, a massive part and one of the biggest challenges of this project, because pretty much every single shot has got some sort of effect in it, whether it be, you know, a third eye or a Kai blast or anything like that. So I'll let George talk about this, because he did all the special effects on the project. Yeah, so 104 visual effects shots later, and I never want to look at another shot again. So to edit, we use Adobe Premiere, and for visual effects we use Adobe After Effects on CS6 now. I think it's an absolutely great system. I mean, the whole Adobe kind of workflow is brilliant. I mean, within After Effects you can do so much. You know, it's pretty much whatever your imagination is, you can do. Some of you might notice we use quite a lot of Video Copilot plugins, such as optical flares, Action Essentials. You've got sound effects from Designer Sound Effects. You know, those plugins really kind of allow you to do so much. Getting to see stuff like the Kenzen or Destructo disc and the Tri-Beam and stuff, you know, in real life was just a fantasy come true for us. So yeah, it's cool. We hope you've enjoyed this video. We hope it's answered some of your questions. We hope you enjoyed the trailer, and stay tuned to our YouTube channel, because we're going to be doing, you know, lots more stuff, videos. Hopefully it's more DragonBall Z stuff. I mean, we really, yeah, we want all the fans to really get behind this, really, because we think it's got, you know, potential to go on something bigger. Maybe, you know, web series, or, you know, we don't know. Well, we don't know what the future holds, but share it, like it, favourite, all that kind of stuff. Share it with your friends, and yeah, maybe we can turn it into something more. A web series would be amazing, and we'd definitely love to do it.
Yeah.
When you finish watching this video, make sure you check the description. Links to all of our cast and crew in there, and there's some great people to work with there. We've had a great experience with them, and you know, you might have a project of your own you want to work on, and there's some great guys to have in your team. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.